Springfield's Up ended up being a much more moving episode than I'd expected. This is the 13th episode of the 18th season of The Simpsons, directed by Chuck Sheetz and Mark Kirkland. And there are some issues with the dates and the ages of characters. And I'm definitely considering this to be not canon. But once I kind of acknowledged that and got over that fact, it was good fun. And then it actually became really moving. And it's parodying the Up documentary series, which I've never seen but I am aware of, where basically the filmmakers documented the lives of children and then followed them every, I think, well, it's 8 years in this episode. I'm not entirely sure if it's 8 years in the official series. Let's assume it is. And in this episode of The Simpsons, it starts off with a filmmaker I'm pretty sure we've met before, Declan Desmond, played or voiced by Eric Idle, talking to the children when they're 8 years old. And children, we have Homer, Marge, Chief Wiggum, who is of course not yet Chief Wiggum, and some others. I won't name them all because that was part of the fun for me of wondering which characters they'd choose. Now I did actually have to Google this because the ages and the years don't necessarily match up, and I googled it, and actually apparently the ages of Homer and Marge in particular actually change depending on what the storyline needs. So that's one of the reasons why I decided that I don't consider this to be a canon episode. But I'm completely okay with that, and we get to see the characters and what their lives are like 8 years later, and then 8 years after that, and I think another 8 years after that. Some characters get more focus than others. A lot of the focus is on Homer, and it takes an interesting turn, but ultimately what happened with Homer I loved. And I'll discuss that with a spoiler warning in a moment. But I really enjoyed this. To begin with, when I thought, okay, the dates and the ages don't match up, this seems a bit weird. But then once I kind of made my peace with the fact that it's, just something a little bit different, a little bit out of the ordinary, and not something that I'm considering canon at least, I allowed myself to have fun with it and enjoy it. And I loved seeing the characters as children, and I really enjoyed following some of them as they aged and getting to see them at ages or in points of their life where we've never seen them before. So I thought that was quite fun, very well animated. And for the most part, I thought it was just a good, fun parody, and I wasn't really taking it seriously. And then it did something that really moved me. I don't think I have anything else left to say that isn't a spoiler. I guess to sum up, I didn't think it would be an important episode or a moving episode. I just thought it would be fun and a little different from the norm as a one-off. But actually it became so much more. And I'll discuss that now. So I guess a spoiler from now. At the end of the episode, Homer, having lied about his lot in life because he's fed up of having the exact same life 8 years apart, and he lies and pretends that Mr. Burns' summer house is his house. He actually gets to see a lot of footage from over the years of people in Springfield saying all of these really nice things about Homer, and they acknowledge the quality of his life and help him to realise that he has a lot. He's got a wife, children who love him, a job that he seems to get fired from every season, but he's got, a lot of things to be thankful for, and I think that that's something that we can all benefit from being reminded of. What we have is actually things other people might be envious of, even if we might think we haven't got enough. And I think that that's something that's always difficult to remember. And for example, if you're trying to get a better job and you're not happy in your current job, it's so difficult to think, yes, but I have a job, and there are so many people who are envious of that. But at the same time, we could always be worse off. Most people can always be worse off, and we actually have more than we think. It's like you don't know what you've got until it's gone. And I think this is what Homer was beginning to realise, that actually he did have a lot to be thankful for. Maybe he wasn't, this millionaire with a summer house and posh children, and yeah, it's always good to have aspirations and to reach for the stars, but Homer also, he had a lot. He had it made in many ways and he just couldn't see it. And I think that's a message for pretty much everybody. Most people have more than they realise until they don't have it. I'm speaking for myself as well. there are times when I see episodes like this, or films or TV shows, that force me to look at my own lot in life and realise that actually things are not too bad. And Homer was allowed to see this as well through some lovely words from some characters who care a lot about him. So yeah, it wasn't starting off as anything that I thought would turn into be a moving, meaningful episode. I thought it would just be good fun that I didn't need to take seriously, and then it hit me really hard, and I thought it was really impressive. So yeah, it's good fun. I'm not considering it canon. I'm not taking it seriously apart from the message at the end, but I enjoyed it. It's a little bit different, and definitely with a really nice message as well.